Thank you, Bloopy the Snoo, for the Tier 2, 24 months. Big contributor to the channel. Appreciate that. Hopefully I can start getting a little bit more of a scheduled stream going again. I say that, and of course I'll be leaving to go to Sweden in 2 weeks, but yeah, aside from that. So best of 3 TvT, top right for Team Liquid, it is Kelazhur. On the bottom left also for Team Liquid, but today, Clem. Of course he still has Liquid in his actual team name, but polar bear is so cute. So TvT between these two happens kind of commonly, I want to say, in these open cups. Definitely getting a little bit of deja vu. So I'm going to go ahead and check to see how often these two have played. I do believe it's always been in Clem's favor. Maybe not literally always, but anytime I think Kelazhur starts to look better or might be on the verge of winning, he doesn't. I think that's the best way to put that one. And looking at the scores between the two, the last 2 years have all been Clem wins. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I believe 10 series where Kelazhur has not been able to win them, and in fact, very rarely takes a map. So, just to be really rude to Kelazhur. Just really point out how unlikely it is that he's going to win against Clem today. A couple of weeks ago, or yeah, more than a couple of weeks at this point, but last month, so 4 weeks, we did have a map taken from Clem, and I think that's maybe what I was referring to, where I said, oh, okay, maybe Kelazhur can do it, and then not so much. Clem has a little bit more of the clutch factor, I think, overall as a player, than Kelazhur right now, and particularly in TvT between the two. It looks like Kelazhur gets into a good position, and then Clem just kind of does whatever, runs around, gets a good fight, something like that. So, setting expectations. I do believe Clem is going to win this one, but I don't think their matches have been so one-sided that I am bored here, that I'm just going to watch this and be like, oh, well, here we go again. They're usually pretty exciting. And there's usually a little bit more back and forth in the early game too, which is really key for making TvT exciting. So a little bit of that happening here. Kelazhur did have to go ahead and sacrifice his SCV. The second Reaper wasn't out in time. So that is a fairly big delay in the command center. You're being really hypercritical of pros. They basically... they want to predict the death of the SCV and already have one coming down, but then that little action means they're not microing the Reaper, could cause further issues. Whoops, it easy. So, you know, there's always that to consider. But yeah, pretty big delay, which Clem now able to utilize that delay to have a, what, 20-second, 30-second lead in the command center? Pretty big. Pretty big. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Clem is also following it up with 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions, of which Kelazhur is not, so he is just at a disadvantage. The tank will pop out, the big daddy tank, save the day. But the question is, at what cost? And that was a late reaction there from Kelazhur, who was a very fast player, but I would say Clem is still a bit faster. He's a bit younger, you know. But no, just generally a bit faster, and that kind of just happens sometimes. I can almost guarantee that Kelazhur was wary of that follow-up, and kind of is just shaking his head right now. You know, we've all had that moment where we're like, well, I know the guy's going DTs, and I'm definitely going to get something to protect myself against the DTs. Oh no, I'm supply blocked. Oh shit, where are the DTs? You know? So I think that was literally just half a second off from being okay-ish. Okay-ish. Still not great. Still not great. Having to back away, turtle up in his main base, and potentially further delay the natural command center. Still would have been very bad. But yeah, that's instead just game over. Lickety split. Top right of now Data C. It is Liquid Clem. Bottom left, it is Kelazhur, going for cheeky proxy marauder, maybe? I only see one SCV, so that is going to be my guess. Clem looks to be just going for barracks, double gas. This is a very late second SCV for a 2-Rex. So either Kelazhur is really off, or there's something here that I'm not thinking of. Oh! Oh, this is oh, wow. Okay, this is what I didn't catch initially. 14-14. Holy shit. That is really, really early on the barracks timings. Oh! Ow! Oh, it's so awkward. Oh my god, I think Kelazhur wins this one. He's going for the most aggressive 2-Racks that you can. So that's why a second SCV could be later, because there really isn't a lot of minerals when you do it this way. But the second SCV is a bit later, but it's still very, very early. Clem, he's gonna have 2-Racks as well, but oh, he's gonna get scouted, which is fantastic. But even if he hadn't, Kelazhur is gonna be able to pair up his Reapers. Clem is not gonna be able to. That was always gonna be, I think, the biggest issue. There's still something to be said that if both were in the dark, there's some weird pullback into Reaper you didn't expect, get grenaded, you know. But now, especially that Kelazhur has the info, I don't think he loses this. I think he can, to be very clear, but I think this is going to favor him. This is supposed to favor him. He has the knowledge. He has the pairing up of the Reapers. And Clem still has no idea. No SCV scout. And you go for this one, right? 2 Reapers enter into the main. You know exactly what that means. So Clem got a choice to make here. Does he pull back with his own Reapers, or does he go for the counterattack? And the choice to go for the counterattack, the Reapers of Clem are already so far across the field that I don't know if there really was an appropriate answer. Loses the Reaper that was back at home, cancels the factory just because this is going to go into base trade territory. It's going to be about Reapers. Clem does the change up to a Marine, which pops faster, but obviously doesn't have the same killing power. And that was probably right. It doesn't matter. Oh, and his Reapers get caught. Yeah, okay, that's definitely GG. Wow, some fast games happening today. How about that? So game 3 is going to be on Waterfall. See if this one can be even faster. All tied up, top right. It's Liquid Clem. Bottom left, we have Kelazhur. Looking to get a world record of TvT time. Winner of this will be heading into the semifinals to face the winner of Spirits versus Max Packs. Am I reading that correctly? Oh, I am, but I needed to update to tell you that actually, officially, the winner of this will be facing Max Packs in that semifinal as Max Packs 2-0'd Spirit. Other semifinal has Showtime, waiting for Hero Marine, Geralt, or Hearthstone. So a little bit more delayed over there. But I could go over the bracket because we thankfully do not have any proxies, as fun as that was. And could have been even more fun. The 2 racks versus 2 racks base trades can get really weird, but especially when Clem's Reapers got surrounded, that was really it. It was pretty much unwinnable, I want to say, when his Reaper in his main died. Like, that probably was already too far gone. But then he also lost a Marine, which was inevitable, and then his Reapers got surrounded, so... It would have had to have been a real perfect micro on every front there, which would have been harder for Clem, just with a little bit of a delayed actual attack. So factory expand this time around. And hopefully this time Kelazhur doesn't get bopped by an extra Reaper and an extra Hellion. Do I live in the famous Grub Hub? Well, due to legal reasons, I do not. Can't believe they took that name. Pshaw. Yep. 2 Reaper, 2 Reaper. 3 Reaper, 3 Reaper. Hellion to Hellion. For Clem, probably thinking it worked out so well last time, but also just liking the opener and the control that it gives. For Kelazhur, might be thinking a little more defensively. You know, if I got the same exact amount of units, nothing you can do. But Kelazhur is also an aggressive Terran if I don't think he's on the back foot. I do still think overall he's on the back foot despite winning the last game, just... Well, the history again from winning the last 10 series that they played. So I'm thinking this is more defensive. Got bopped a little bit in the first game. But he obviously could go attack and be aggressive with it as well. Neither one of them choosing that option so far. Eventually you do run out. You wait for the typical timing and then give it a couple extra seconds and then you go out, which if they're both in the same thing can still result in some real awkwardness. Viking coming out here from Kelazhur is unique. He's gonna try and rush the fronts and then maybe Viking in the back. Because it could have been a medevac, and I would have understood that. Could have been... I guess it could have been a Liberator, but I don't think it would have been very good. And it could have just been a tech lab, right, for a Raven. But a Viking this quickly, one single Viking this quickly. It's a little odd. He might be thinking that his opponent could be going for a medevac. The thing is, they're both blind. They both have no idea. So, yeah. It was just coincidental time right there. But the coincidence is in favor of Clem. Takes down 2 of his opponent's Reapers. Now also should feel very free to go ahead and go across the map with his own Reapers. Because now by this time, they have other units. They don't really need Reapers anyways, especially after that. And it's a question of Clem trying to get into the main base immediately, more so he gets scouting than perhaps damage done, or if he tries to wait it out and slip in a little later for even more damage. This one Viking didn't do any of the options that I thought it would. There was no attack from Kelazhur, and with the denial of the main base Reapers, there's also still really no scouting. The Viking ended up being a very early defensive unit against a perceived aggressive Clem, which I don't think is necessarily a bad gamble a lot of the time. Clem does like his medevac openers, but in this case, I don't think it's particularly useful. The 2 Cyclones just took out Kelazhur's Cyclone. Now they're there to protect the Raven, which isn't going to die particularly fast to 1 Viking anyways. And I think just overall, Clem has more control over the game, more confidence in this TvT. The only thing he doesn't have going for him right now is that he's down 2 workers, but he has a much faster 3rd command center. He has faster barracks production as well, and he has faster Viking production after they both got 2 Ravens. So just straight up Kelazhur, maybe a little bit supply blocked. Okay, also going into a 3rd Raven, that makes sense. So he might have had a similar timing on the Vikings had he swapped off, but he didn't. Still, the other points that I just mentioned, all very much a fact. Faster 3rd command center for Clem, faster barracks for him, and with usually those faster barracks, we do have the faster stim. So the Reaper of Clem's going to get in and get a perfect scout. It actually sees everything we'd really need to see. 3rd command center barracks, so it's bio, not mech. Timing of the barracks, I know I'm in the lead here in Marine count as well as stim count. Saw a bit of the army, I believe, as well, so I don't think it's all the 3rd Raven itself, but seeing a tech lab still on the starport and 2 Ravens, you don't have to be super genius to figure out what that is. And this Reaper even got, I think, an SCV kill or 2 before it started dripping out. It's actually kind of a lot of like small things. All right, yes, but there's a lot of small things going well for Clem. And now with the faster 3rd command center, he also has more workers. Good lock on to one of the tanks, gets it just above half health, and the 2 Cyclones, still very importantly, living. They're gonna be able to lock on to further very important units. Kelazhur's army's got a lot of burst potential with the triple Raven, but Clem has a lot more of that long con type of composition, the slow siege up, the finding the armies and picking off units prior to the engagements happening. And Kelazhur, I think, is just very unlucky versus Clem. The Raven was going to go do some harassments. It ran right into the army, so there's less of that burst power. In fact, there's just an equal amount of burst power, but Clem also had more units. So there's nothing that Kelazhur could have done, I think, better to win that fight after the Raven went down. Unless he was just already sieged, which... Even then, they just... Yeah, I feel like Kelazhur's unlucky. Even the first game... Oh, Clem just shot his own Viking. Even the first game, as much as that was... How to say? Like, as much as that was... Yes, that was just Kelazhur's fault. That wasn't some weird, like, fog of war thing. Like, oh, he barely didn't glimpse it. In a sense, it was still quite unlucky, because I can, again, basically guarantee that Kelazhur was very aware of the possibility of being broken on the front. Oh my god, barely see the 3rd CC. And had looked away for just a half second too long. So if the half a second was before or after the timing of which it actually happened, Kelazhur probably plays out game for 1 a lot more. And, well... I wouldn't be sitting here saying that Kelazhur is just unlucky. It's not just unlucky, it's just in addition to. He is unlucky versus Clem, as well as might just be the worst TvT player. Stylistically, perhaps, but yeah, definitely against, when you size these 2 up, Clem continues to be the better player. He's gonna go on an 11-match streak, winning streak against Kelazhur. It's not much that the Blue Terran can do here. Bit over year, you'd think, from Clem there, but it's gonna work out, so GG. Clem knows at endgames. And now he faces Max Pax.